Would you say we're a partner you'd recommend to other companies who are looking to increase their organic search presence on Google and ChatGPT?
Yeah, 100%.
I recorded the entire process that led to this case study. In a 25-page document, it has processes, tools, and AI agents to help you do this by yourself. I'm going to give you that at the end of the video, so stay tuned. Hope you enjoy.
Kyle followed me in November. I reached out to him and I pitched him and we started working together. It's been 6 months, and in this quick video, we're going to talk about his experience and like the results we've seen so far from that. And what problem led you to seek out an SEO partner?
We're working with an agency that was doing SEO for a year. To be honest, we just never felt like we were seeing dividends on that investment. We weren't super ecstatic with the quality of work and the communication. It wasn't turning into a meaningful channel for us. So I felt like there was more to be had. You always hear about people talk about how good SEO can be for long-term branding and awareness and kind of lowering cost for advertising campaigns and whatnot. Just thought that there might be a better opportunity out there.
So why was Kyle unhappy about the work that was being done? It's the same problem that you see today with a lot of agencies and even SaaS brands. They're targeting all the top funnel traffic and they're frankly targeting keywords that they have no business targeting, right? So in the case of TxtCart, they were targeting random topics that weren't related to their ideal customer, but they thought the topic was. So there's a nuance to keyword strategy that I guess a lot of people miss. So for some people, it's common sense. Others, there's a strategy. And for some others, it's just a very difficult concept. But one of the topics, for example, TxtCart was targeting was how to send a long video via text on Android, and then how to send a long video via text via iPhone. So 2 blog posts that have to do with SMS, but nothing to do with e-commerce merchants who are TxtCart's customer. So that's an example of where sometimes some irrelevant topics fall through the cracks and waste your SEO budget, throws a wrench in the timeline, and SEO is not going to be very profitable for you. These blogs were generating them a lot of traffic though, but it was irrelevant traffic. We had RB2B installed inside the channel and we could see the people visiting our websites, and it would be the most random people from all sorts of industries. But now our traffic is very relevant. It even attracts some competitors' CMOs. Dinglebop. Now, there were some good keywords that were being targeted. What happened with those ones was the content became lazy. It was thin. It was mostly text-based. There were no colors. The information wasn't very digestible. No bullets, infographics, call to actions, no case study integrations. So when the right keywords were being targeted, the content was lackluster.
What's one thing you believe we did exceptionally well?
I think the ability that you guys have to write the blogs in a way that is informational, but also has a lot of CTAs and subtle promotions for the tech that you're writing for, right? Not just for us. I think just the quality of the blogs is 5x better than what we were doing before. It's a very in-depth, very informational structure, and kind of the organization of them looks good. That's probably the biggest thing.
SaaS SEO in 2025 is identifying the 12 to 15 money keywords that you really need to rank for, shortlist them and track them every month. Everything you do, from the content you create to the backlinks you build, to what you share on social media or your newsletter, should be centered around those 12 to 15 core topics anyway. One of the first things we had to do was go into TxtCart's site and actually kill several blog posts that were not relevant, but were generating us the most traffic. This was actually a nerve-wracking decision because I knew as soon as we did this, our traffic and clicks would drop. And on paper, it would look like Kyle just paid us, and the month after he started working with us, we just plummeted his results. But in reality, what we're doing is we were cutting the bloat.
The biggest thing was you guys cleaned up all of the meaningless, like top of funnel generic keywords that we were previously ranking for. So the other agency was writing a lot of content that was not really specific to our niche of being an e-com SaaS provider. So there was a lot of just like slop that was being written that was not generating quality traffic. That just didn't really sit right with me. So I appreciated the ability to kind of rectify that situation.
Traffic is mattering less and less as LLMs progress because they're answering all that top funnel stuff. Most brands have 12 to 15 keywords generating 80 to 90% of the leads. So when it comes to LLM SEO at this point, you want to make sure that your is a top recommended result for these 12 to 15 keywords. They're more than likely going to be a variant of best X tools to do something, competitor alternatives, or how to solve a very specific problem. In the 25-page doc that I mentioned earlier in the video, that's in the description, I also recorded 5 different walkthroughs on how to find all of these keywords on SEMrush. Now you can also use the walkthrough for Ahrefs because the UI is very similar. It takes you through how to find competitor alternatives. I've provided short definitions on what they are and examples and the goal of these keywords, and then the video walkthrough. And then I've also given you some ChatGPT prompts to help with brainstorming. Next, we have tools. This part of the guide helps you understand all the product use cases that you have, and then create content on all of those use cases from tools, examples, and templates. Again, walk through how to fix the problem your product solves. Here's how to find those keywords. These are all SEMrush walkthroughs that you can also use for Ahrefs because the UI is similar. Loom recordings of each keyword research method. And I've included a bonus on how to spy on the top 30 best performing pages on your competitor websites to draw inspiration for what pages you need to create fast. And if you have a team, I've created a questionnaire for your sales, success, and support teams to get live on the ground insights for content ideas to attract your to attract your ideal customer. And again, I've included our page priority matrix right here, which I like to say is a way of measuring common sense on which topics are most relevant and which topics can wait till a later date. So these walkthroughs should help you cast a net of your first 30 to 50 keywords. In my experience, 12 to 15 keywords are the ones that are generating 80 to 90% of the leads for most SaaS brands. Again, if this is your product, it should be rather obvious what your 12 to 15 are. One bonus tip I will give you is when you're on SEMrush, you will also notice a CPC value, and that's your cost per click. So this is data that SEMrush pulls from PPC campaigns that run on Google. And this is a great little metric to pay attention toward because brands that are paying to appear for a keyword are making money from that keyword. Otherwise, they would not be paying to appear for it. So the higher the CPC, the higher business value that keyword has. The higher chance that keyword has of driving you leads. So if a keyword is relevant and it's low competition, it has decent volume, and a good CPC value, that's the perfect formula or criteria, whatever you want to call it, for a money keyword, a low-hanging fruit that you want to immediately take advantage of by creating content. And that brings us to the next part of the video, which is content creation.
The ability that you guys have to write the blogs in a way that is informational, but also has a lot of CTAs and subtle promotions for the tech that you're writing for, right?
They're driving leads and awareness to buyers.
Seeing the lift that we weren't seeing before.
When you do it right, it can drive you big leads.
I think the team has been night and day difference. The communication has been a lot better. Just the overall strategy has been better.
Now it's all about being mentioned in the overview of all the AI tools, but to be able to do that, you need to first rank in the top 10. Ranking in the top 10 is a good bet because Surfer and several other SEO bodies have done research. I'm gonna cite Surfer's one because it's the one I remember. They looked at over 400,000 searches and they found that over 50% of the time, ChatGPT or Google sourced the top 10 results over 50% of the time. So that's not surprising. It makes sense that AI would want to provide the best answer, and the best answer is going to be one of the top 10 results. So the question becomes, how do you be one of the best answers? Well, for those of you that don't know, I actually started as a content writer myself over 6 years ago, and over the past 6 years, I've studied every nook and cranny of what it takes to rank a web page on Google. And up until recently, I had it inside a comprehensive checklist that I would hand off to my writers, I would train everybody on, and the checklist would be like an extension of my brain on paper. But over the past several months, we've been investing hundreds of hours and thousands of dollars behind AI agents. And we've baked that ranking and content quality checklist inside the brains of one of the AI agents. They're starting to work on their own, they're getting smarter and smarter, and they're trained exclusively on your product, now getting us 80 to 99% there with our content. The results have been phenomenal. We've been using it for our client fulfillment and for our own marketing.
I think just the quality of the blogs is 5x better than what we were doing before.
So this is the same agentic system right here that's responsible for TxtCart's content marketing. As you can see, there's Aurora, who is the SEO content planner, who takes all the keywords that you found and delegates them based on your posting frequency. So if you were doing 2 to 3 topics per week, Aurora would assign 2 to 3 from your list of 30 to 50 that you made previously and send it over to Sage to create the briefs. Now, depending on the topic and content type, Sage is going to send it to one of these agents. If it's a blog post guide, Sage is going to send it to this scribe, which is TxtCart's general content writer. If it's a landing page, Sage is going to send it to Quill, which is TxtCart's landing page writer, which follows a very specific template and copywriting instructions. Then we have the product comparison writers. This is the one that writes product listicles on your competitor alternatives, positioning you as number one. And then this one writes direct comparisons comparing 2 products side by side. Every single one of these AI agents are given highly detailed prompts, checklists, and custom databases on all product features, case studies, testimonials, and even competitor information. This way, you control the information that's being fed to each AI, so you can ensure that there are no mistakes inside your content, no incorrect assumptions, or made-up testimonials, or anything that could put you in legal jeopardy. You can even choose which AI model they use, from ChatGPT 4 Mini, Claude 3.7, Google's Gemini. For content, we've set these to Claude as we've seen the best results with them, but you can change them. If you're interested in this agentic system, then use the link below to book a call to discuss us coming into your business and installing these for your product. Or if you grab the 25-page doc below in the description, then you get 2 of these agents for free that you can copy and paste into your own template and use on your own. It's important to mention though that this system isn't replacing a human team, it's amplifying it. In fact, you actually need a couple small human-filled roles that will help you make the most out of the system. And the good news though is that you can hire these people on Fiverr or Upwork or get a VA to do it. It's not super difficult to hire for these positions. So one is an editor, or for us, it's the head of content and the agency. And what they're doing is reviewing the agent's output, refining the prompt from occasional misfires, and also giving the final green light. It just helps you sleep at night better when you know that a human's reviewed it. So no one's out there questioning why your agent set something if it ever misfires. So there's that. And then there's also a graphic designer you'll need for thumbnails or infographics to complement your text-based assets, design concepts for CTAs, UX, UI, mockups. Though I would argue you could probably find AI tools for all of those things now, but that's how we do it in the agency to maintain a consistent level of quality assurance. And then of course we have a technical person who pushes the final draft to the site, implements code, UX, UI elements. Again, you can hire a web developer who specializes in WordPress or Webflow or whatever you use to handle that part. But I'm going to throw you a bone. For a very small fee, which is about 1/4 of your average SEO retainer, you can actually outsource all of these roles to me and my team, and we will do this all for you when you have nothing to worry about. You don't have to stress about everyone working together or if they're the right person because you have a pre-vetted team already doing everything for you. And the reason why I can offer something like this is because never before have we had AI agents automate 80% of the task. Never before have we had a system that can be installed inside your business without taking up too many resources from our business, all without compromising quality. So a whole new level of automation has brought a whole new level of no-brainer offers. And this is my one to you. So if you're a SaaS founder or a marketing executive at a B2B company, and you're not quite at the stage yet where you can afford to pay a 3 or 5 or 10K per month retainer for SEO, but you can invest in more than some VAs or lower tier software subscriptions, then this middle ground offer is perfect for you to be able to harness the power of a full scale SEO team at 1/4 of the cost. I never thought I'd be saying those sentences ever with a good conscience. But yeah, so if that sounds interesting, use the link below to book a call. It'll direct you to my calendar and we can discuss how this would work. All right, back to the video. But content is only half the equation. You also need promotion and distribution. Let's talk about the most traditional form of promotion and distribution, which are backlinks in SEO. Now, there are several types of backlinks you need to get. Some of them are more so one time in the beginning and others are ongoing. I've broken them down into 4 main categories. I know we keep coming back to this doc, but it's because it really does have everything you need. So number 1 are getting on the basic directories that are relevant in your industry. In fact, I have a list of 60 right here from Philip Keller on Twitter. It's a Notion doc with over 100 relevant SaaS directories that you should register your product on right now to splatter your presence all over the internet. The next most powerful form of outreach is targeted outreach to get mentioned on particular listicles. So you remember those best X tools for use case keywords we were talking about earlier? There are probably another 20 to 30 listicles targeting that same keyword on the first, second, and third pages of search results. What you want to do is find the contact information of the authors for those listicles using Hunter.io for their emails or Googling their names and finding their LinkedIns and reaching out to barter a link exchange. You want your product to appear in at least 70% of the listicles on the first few pages of search results. This is because one of the leading indicators right now for what's ranking on Google and in the AI overview are the number of brand mentions a company has across the internet. The more popular a brand is, the more they're name dropped across multiple channels across the internet, the higher likelihood they have of appearing in search results and in the AI overview. This research has been consistent across several SEO bodies and figures, which is why this and then number 3, which is digital PR, is so important. They both do a great job of spreading your name like wildfire for the appropriate terms. Number 4 is more consistent and on a monthly basis with link insertions and guest posts. So this is where you find existing articles or blogs that are already doing good numbers and find a relevant opportunity to mention your product inside of them. That's a link insertion. A guest post is similar, except you're creating the post anew. Again, in the doc, I give you resources and platforms and websites and tools to use for each link acquisition method, along with examples, so you can hit the ground running. I've also provided a link criteria checklist, so you know what a good backlink looks like. I'm telling you guys, I give you guys everything in this doc.
The overall strategy has been better. We've seen the lift that we weren't seeing before.
There's one crucial factor that we haven't talked about behind this lift that we weren't seeing before. And it's the same thing that's shaken up the SEO world by storm. It's the simple fact that Google isn't enough for your organic presence anymore. Are you on Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn? Are you on Twitter? What about email? None of these channels may play a direct role in ranking number 1. But if we've learned anything from the past year, it's that brands that are omnipresent are winning. They're being favored in AI search. But you can probably imagine how something like this can become very, very logistically difficult. I mean, how are you suddenly going to produce enough content and hire enough manpower to now fuel all your social media channels, email newsletter, YouTube, and what have you? This is where your unfair advantage comes in. I promise you, none of your competitors have this right now. It's about to completely change the way you do content forever. If you made it this far, then I'm about to drop the ultimate bomb on you. This is the same agentic system we've been using inside for our agency, and we've started rolling it out for our clients. And it takes a single YouTube video or blog post, and with highly detailed and personalized prompts, along with several examples of what a great output looks like. Each agent has been honed to create content that sounds like you, that's on brand, and produces conversions or engagement, whatever your goal is, all without you. They work together
together, they get smarter every day. This is a very dangerous system if you guys haven't already noticed. It's helping you really maximize and juice the potential from one piece of long form content with 70 to 80% savings. This is all built on Relevance AI, and this is a template that you can literally duplicate right now. And all you really need is the pro or team plan. So for less than $200, you're hiring a complete content repurposing team that works phenomenally well and gets you 80 to 90% there consistently. So if you want this exact template, it's in the same 25-page doc that I've been mentioning throughout this entire video, and you can get this for free. Or if you want us to build you something personalized and connect custom databases that's trained on your product data, customer, and case studies, or create specific agents for different channels, or just add in special functionalities and automations so this perfectly fits inside your business, then use the link below to book a call. But this right here, guys, is the answer to your future problems. One of the biggest shifts we're seeing in SEO right now, and if you want to be ahead of the curve, you need to listen to this and you need to follow it. One of the biggest shifts happening in this industry is people are realizing they can no longer get away with writing blogs. They need to be omnipresent across multiple channels. This is easier said than done between all the hiring and the training and the workload. Never before have AI agents made it easier to now automate 70 to 80% of this. And if you guys have any questions about the system, then you can just email me or leave a comment below and we'll help you out. But yeah, link in bio, guys. Now there's an agent I want to shine some extra light on because she deserves the special attention, and that's Yappa. Yappa's only job is to engage on Reddit. Reddit's a very important platform, and I haven't mentioned it yet, but they're arguably the most important platform because it was Google's way of trying to push raw, authentic human content up in search results in an era full of AI garbage. And so it's very important that you get your brand on Reddit now because it goes back to those brand mentions that I mentioned in the Ahrefs analysis earlier. This is contributing to that overall goal. And what we've seen from testing it with our own clients, hiring a community engagement specialist, is it's actually driving conversions, not only just driving brand awareness. Now, luckily for you guys, I'm handing this entire thing to you for free. This is in SOP, a standard operating procedure, and you can literally just pass this off to a VA, even some local high school intern. I mean, they're the best at this sort of thing, or university intern, college intern, what have you, and they can literally just take this and run with it, and they'll do this for you, especially since they're not even writing the reply that's Yappa, but you just need someone human at the helm. You just pay them. My idea was actually to pay per engagement, so $5 per engagement. That's how we've been doing it. We've been hiring locally from colleges, and we're like, hey, we'll pay you $5 per engagement. They'll do 5 to 6 engagements per week per client, and so that's just easy money for them. It's very fun to do, honestly, and so this SOP trains you on everything on what a good response looks like. This is an example right here of where our community engagement specialist was replying to a thread. This is him, and then this was the original poster OP on Reddit, and they actually ended up looking into TxtCart as a suggestion, all from just simply being helpful and just engaging in conversation. The core principle that Yappa is trained on and your VA will be trained on is you're not selling here. Reddit is very, very, very strict and intolerant with selling. So you genuinely have to be authentic. You have to add value to the conversation, and only then will people receive anything you sell in a positive manner. But even then, we're not really selling, we're just suggesting it as a logical solution. And that means that sometimes we're not suggesting anything, and that's okay. If you violate the rules of the platform, you're going to get burned really quickly. So the workflow is pretty simple. You shortlist the communities and people, influencers you want to engage with, and then you use a tool like Devi AI, as it's a social listening tool that pings you whenever a conversation on Reddit happens with a certain keyword that you want to track. So in our case, it was SMS marketing. And so whenever a thread came up regarding that conversation, we made sure our guy was there to reply. And all he did was go to relevant Reddit threads, simply copy paste the entire thread just like this, paste it into Yappa's chat, which looks very much like ChatGPT's UI, except it's a custom agent that's trained very, very well on how to add value. So paste it just like that. Now it's visiting TxtCart's custom knowledge base that we created. It's extracting the Reddit thread and reading it thoroughly and analyzing it. And then it generates 2 to 3 replies for you to choose from. Very, very natural sounding. And the bulk of the message just focuses on value. And then only very subtly do we mention our product if it's necessary. Yappa will also give your insights. Yappa will also give on which one it thinks it's best based on different scenarios. And then you simply just paste the one you like. You go back to the thread and you contribute. So as you can see, it's a pretty handy tool, pretty handy system. And again, this isn't just theory. This has been working across all of our clients, getting us a lot of visibility and organic conversions just from natural conversations with our ideal customer surfing on the internet. You're getting this for free. This should not be free. You're getting this for free. With agents like this, it's really ridiculous and almost borderline illegal. It feels illegal. It's borderline unacceptable for you to even be complaining about a lack of visibility when such tools make it so easy for you to put yourself out there. And this is different. I want to highlight that this is different from a traditional engagement bot that has no manual overview. Those are the things that people complain about online because they struggle to understand the proper context and they end up repeating what the post is already saying. This is not that. This is a step above. This is more sophisticated. It's trained and it has a manual element to it
to ensure quality assurance. If you want something completely automated and just done for you with no overview whatsoever, then you need to go somewhere else, because that's not what we've built here and that's not what we're offering. But if you want something that doesn't risk your reputation, but still saves you 90 to 95% of the work with some overview, then simply click the link in the description, get the doc, and then you'll have Yappa's SOP ready for you inside.
You guys are easy to communicate with back and forth. You send over a monthly report with all the key information that I care about. If I have any questions, I can ping the team, Bobby, the designers, whoever it might be, for any issues. Typically not many issues. So yeah, it was pretty easy to get started. Communication solid. Everything's pretty streamlined. So yeah, it's been good.
Would you say we're a partner you'd recommend to other companies who are looking to increase their organic search presence on Google and ChatGPT?
Yeah, 100%. We just did that post on Twitter and LinkedIn about our sort of secret hacks around the AIO, as I coined it. But yeah, you guys have been a great partner, an extension of our team on the SEO front. And for anyone that has a SaaS company or Shopify app, I've always highly recommended you guys as the go-to agency for it.
So from where I'm sitting, you got two options from here. You can either grab that link to that doc that I was talking about this entire video, just because you can't really fit everything into a video. And then even if you can't really take something from the video unless it's like a doc that you can use, right? So, I mean, just by the nature of it, you kind of need the link anyway as a handbook. So you can either do that, or if all of this sounds like it's a little too much work and you want to hire a team that you can trust, a team that's at the forefront of LLM discovery and new SEO in this post-AI era, one with a proven track record, some of this is to a degree experimental. You want a team that's in the trenches actually experimenting. So if you want someone like that, then just click the link below and book a call. It'll direct you to a calendar and you'll be able to book a time with me personally. And we can just talk, plan, we'll show you what's working. And if you want to install that inside your business, we'll go from there. See ya!